Good morning. Committee on Parole is convening. We're at prison. Today is Thursday, June the 12th, 2025. Before we start our parole hearings this morning, we're going to take care of some revocation matters. So our first revocation case is at Beauregard, and it is Scott Leonard. Good morning. Would the staff there at Beauregard please just introduce yourself for the record?
Leonard Scott.
All right, Mr. Scott. Mr. Scott, I'll introduce the panel to you. My name is Cheryl Renatza. Seated to my left is Mr. Danny Byron. To my right is Mrs. Carolyn Stapleton. We're here for a revocation proceeding this morning. And do you have any paperwork there with you, Mr. Scott?
No.
Okay. Tell us your DOC number, please, sir.
112870.
All right. Do you see that that document on the screen in front of you?
Kind of. Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
Is that your signature at the bottom of that page?
Yeah.
Okay. Based on that information, Mr. Scott, you're not eligible for appointed counsel. So are you ready to proceed without a lawyer today?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to read the allegations against you, Mr. Scott.
Okay.
You're accused of violating the conditions of your parole, and that's condition number 4. And it says, on April 14th, 2025, the state of Ohio advised Louisiana Probation and Parole of your arrest and conviction for disorderly conduct, amended from aggravated menacing knowingly caused to believe serious physical harm and domestic violence, knowingly caused belief of imminent physical harm by threat or force. On April 14, 2025, the charges were amended to disorderly conduct, 4th degree misdemeanor, to which you pled no contest and were found guilty. So how do you plead to violating condition number 4, Mr. Scott?
I didn't do nothing on that.
Now, sir, before you tell me all that, I need you to plead guilty or not guilty, and then we'll talk about it.
Oh, not guilty then.
Okay, so what do you have to say?
Well, when I was here in December and January and February, and I seen the parole board for a different violation. They said I violated, but I didn't. And when I went home, I had 3 different women living in my apartment. Okay, and I throw them out, and one of them came back and started camping out there, and I went and told her she had to leave. She's not on my lease. She's not part of my lease agreement at all. She's not listed as anything on there. She wasn't paying rent, and she had to leave. And she told me what I was doing in her bedroom. And I told her, this is not your bedroom. This is my apartment, and you're not here. You're a squatter. Get out. And I told her, didn't leave. I was
Scott, why didn't you call the police?
Excuse me?
Why didn't you call the police?
I didn't because I didn't know I could call the police on them, on squatters. Everyone told me, no, these squatters. I told a friend of mine about it. He said, oh, the squatters got so many rights now. So she called the police and said I threatened her. And then I found out the woman that co-signed that charge was the woman that rented her my apartment. They were being rented my apartment without my knowledge because I was down here in Louisiana.
Right. I do see where in February of this year, the parole board did give you another chance, although you say you didn't do anything wrong. The parole board did not revoke you and allowed you to return to supervision, and you were transferred back to Ohio.
Yeah.
Now, the record shows that you pulled a pocket knife.
No, that was a lie.
On the lady Shelby Gaskin.
Yeah, that was a lie. I was, if you heard the conversation, the phone call, I was there standing right there, and I said, she's lying. She's a squatter. I'm throwing her out of my apartment. That's why she's doing that.
Right. Yes, sir. But the fact remains that you pled in court. You pled no contest.
Right. Because I found out that the woman that actually had rented her my apartment signed a statement against me saying that, yeah, that's what happened. But the only reason she did that was trying to save face with the woman that paid her to stay in my apartment while I was gone. I got evicted behind all this.
Sir?
I got evicted from my apartment because they were staying in my apartment.
Mhm.
I didn't even know them. I didn't know who they were, nothing.
All right, well, thank you, sir. I don't have any other questions. Mr. Byron, you have any questions? You just say, no, ma'am. All right, Mr. Leonard, the fact is, as I said, you pled no contest in court. I do find that you violated condition number 4. So my vote today, sir, is going to be to revoke your parole. Mr. Byron.
I concur with Mr. Knox for the same reason.
Mrs. Stapleton. I concur. Mr. Scott, today your parole is being revoked, sir.
So what's the deal? What's going to happen?
You're going to remain in Louisiana and you're going to complete your sentence. That concludes our business in board. We're going to sign off at 40.
I have a question. Go
Okay, ma'am, go ahead.
Can you give me the docket number that he was revoked on?
Yes.
I didn't need to revoke my parole for a misdemeanor.
Let me find it. We'll send that to you with the paperwork that we fax over.
Thank you.
Right, okay. Yeah, we'll send it to you.
Thank you so much. And the effective date for the revocation is today.
Yes.
Thank you.
When's my discharge?
Yes. Expand the screen. Run. And his screen. Is it that? He's on the same screen. Okay. I'll let you know if I need to be on camera. I just need to be able to see what's up, okay?
And this thing, I can see Tom in a corner.
Now I'm muted.
Committee on Parole is now in Madison Parish Correctional Center on Thursday, June 12th, 2025. Good morning. Would the staff at Madison introduce yourself for the record?
Carl Kamak, Madison Correctional Center.
Thank you for accommodating us this morning, and we're ready for Mr. Karuk.
Okay, they bring him down the hall now, man.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. How you doing? Yeah.
He's coming down the hall.
Yeah. Then go ahead, it's
Parole board in, huh?
yeah.
Okay. We get released today.
All right, good morning, Mr. Karuk.
Good morning, ma'am.
How you doing today?
All right, how you doing today?
Good. Well,
Good.
would you introduce yourself to us? Tell us your name and DOC number, please.
My name is Willie James Carew. VOC number is 122179.
Yes, sir. That's what I have. Good morning again. You're here for a revocation decision? Do
Yes,
you
ma'am.
have any paperwork there with you?
No, my paperwork got
Okay.
all up mixed up.
Yeah, we're gonna put a form up on the screen. I need you to verify if that's your signature at that bottom of that page. Just stand by. We'll put it up on the screen for you.
Okay.
Okay, you see that form?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your signature down at the bottom of that page?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you signed that in February, so based on that information that's on that form, you're not eligible for appointed counsel this morning, so are you ready to proceed without a lawyer?
Well, my counsel, she was supposed to be here, but if
Did you hire a lawyer?
what I didn't hire the parole officer had got her.
Did you have an attorney at your preliminary hearing?
No, ma'am. They had sent me another hearing with a lawyer, but we wind up didn't go to the hearing.
What's your level of education?
4th grade, ma'am.
Can you read and write?
Not too good, ma'am. No, ma'am.
So are you requesting a appointed lawyer today?
No, ma'am. We can proceed, ma'am.
You sure? Do you understand the allegations against you?
Yes, ma'am.
So are you saying you want to proceed without a lawyer today? Or you want to wait and let us appoint you a lawyer?
I mean, y'all in charge, ma'am. You know,
No, it's your
so
decision. You tell me what you want to do.
we'll proceed because I think we'll proceed.
Okay, so you ready to speak on your own behalf? Okay, we'll get started. Your case this morning has been assigned to Mr. Byra, seated to my left, so he's going to be asking you some questions.
Okay.
All right, the parole officer at the preliminary hearing alleged that you left the state of Louisiana without permission and was in Ohio on January 9th, 2025, when you were supposed to be in Louisiana. How do you plead to being in Ohio when you're supposed to be in Louisiana?
But I plead guilty on it because with a statement. I went to a program, a faith-based program out in Ohio, and they had the faith program. It acquires you having a job and everything. You get a chance to save up money to where you can get housing and stuff. And I was so caught up in a moment, I didn't get in contact with my parole officer that day. I got in contact with him the day when I got out there. And he ordered me back to come back the next week. And I came back, and that's when I got arrested on it. But I went out there for a program, to get myself better from being on the streets in New Orleans and moving too fast. It cost me this year.
You are guilty of being in Ohio and you just got a good excuse.
Huh?
Guilty of being in Ohio when you're not without permission, but you have an explanation of why.
Yes, sir.
All right. The second violation is you were arrested by the New Orleans Police Department for criminal damage to property on January 14, 25. What happened with that?
That was my luggage hit my little brother window and bust the window, and the charge got thrown out, and just dealing with this now, sir.
Start over again with that. What happened? Your brother?
It was a misdemeanor. It was a misdemeanor criminal damage.
It's still about. Tell me about it.
Huh?
Tell me about it.
Yeah, when I slung my bag on my back, my scrap popped and busted the window. I didn't know you could call the police. I would have handled it right then and there, but he called the police so he could get the damage taken care of. And
You knew
when I
the
came
window
back,
broke? You knew the
Uh-huh.
person. You knew the person whose window broke.
was my little brother.
It was your brother.
Yes, sir, my baby brother.
Y'all arguing at the time?
Huh? No, sir. No, it wasn't arguing. No, sir.
Right. Then you had a violation condition number 10. You didn't pay your fees and you had an arrearage of $189.
And that's the 3 months that I just was home. I just home with 90 days, and when I was supposed to go live with my big brother, his wife had told me my big brother he was going through radiation, and then he had to start chemo. So she said it was too much of a burden on her for me to be staying there right now. And I told that to my parole officer the first time I went seeing him. And that left me on homeless on the street. And he asked me where I would be staying. I told him I would be staying in Jackson Square. And that's why I've been staying at. bouncing from uh programs to programs to try to get housing and stuff like that for my first 90 days home. That's all I was home was for 90 days.
All right.
And it was kind of up a struggle, with no help and so trying to get things back on in order. I didn't want to get stuck back in the streets. So that's why I took that program, that faith-based program. And like I said, I was just moving too fast with it, and I put a violation up on me. But
All right.
I was trying to get my life right and get myself together so I can move forward. Because I'm 58 years old now, sir. I'm not I'm not ready for
But where you plan on living if we would let you go now? Where would you go?
I'm gonna go stay with my daughter for now, and then I have one of my misdemeanor courts was at Judge Jones. He have the program that I signed up for that he signed me up for too. They have housing and also have jobs and everything waiting on me. So we gave it 45 days dealing with the parole in our parish. We didn't know that it was gonna go this long. But my daughter, I can give you her number and y'all can call and get everything verified and we can move forward with that. And I got like 2 more other programs that I done signed up for.
What's the
Wow.
name of the program that the judge set you up with?
It's his program. It's his program. He run it. He the overseer of it. And his name is Judge Jones. I ain't get a chance to get the name of the program, but he's the overseer of it. And he signed me up. And then they like I said, they said they was just gonna lay up here and wait 45 days with the parole. And the parole stuff dragged out to be almost like 5 to 6 months. But yeah, the Judge Jones, I can give you my daughter number, Yasmin number, and you can call and get everything verified through my daughter because she been taking care of everything
All right.
for me.
All right. That's all the questions I had for you.
Yes, sir.
How did you get to Ohio?
But the 2 misses that comes to New Orleans, they come to New Orleans every like 6 weeks and pass out bags and blankets and socks and stuff to the homeless people. And I got to know them real good. I've been knowing them for like 5 years now. And she offered me the program. I had just come home and I was
They provided transportation for you?
yes, ma'am. They paid the bus ticket, man. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
And then they paid the bus ticket to get me back.
all right. I don't have any other questions. All right, Mr. Caruth, I think we're ready to make a decision. I'm gonna ask for Mr. Byron to cast his vote.
All right. I find you guilty of violating those conditions that the parole officer outlined. However, I'm gonna not revoke your parole and add some conditions to it that
Yes,
says
sir.
that, hold on, you're not gonna be revoked on my vote, that says you report to your parole officer within 48 hours of your release from jail, that you have a curfew from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. at your daughter's house, and that you complete the substance abuse treatment program that's ordered by Judge Jones in your misdemeanor case. All right,
Yes, sir.
one vote.
Ms. Stapleton? I concur, Mr. Byron. All right, Mr. Caruth, I do agree. You know, you had some dire circumstances. You were trying to do better. So although you're guilty of those violations, my vote is the same as Mr. Barrow's. Do not revoke. You understand the special conditions that he outlined?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. I got a 10 o'clock curfew. Yes, ma'am. I gotta go see the parole officer, 2 times out of a month now instead of 2 weeks?
No,
I mean,
you
a week.
gotta.
Within 2 days, you have to meet him.
Okay, I got to see him within 48 hours.
Yes.
Yes,
And then,
ma'am.
and then do the program ordered by the judge, the substance abuse.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. In the program, it gives me housing and it also gives me a job. So that's what I needed. That's what I needed.
All right,
Yes,
well,
ma'am.
good luck to you, Mr. Caruth. We hope you do well.
Oh, thank y'all. Thank you, Jesus.
That
Thank
concludes
y'all
our
very much.
business, in Madison. We're gonna sign off 9:04.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Free.
All right, good morning. The Committee on Parole is called to order. It's 9:10 a.m. on Thursday, June the 12th. Our first parole case is at Ouachita Parish Correctional. My name is Cheryl Renanza, serving as chairman of today's parole panel. Seated with me today is Mr. Danny Barra and Mrs. Carolyn Stapleton. We are at DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge, and I'd like to get the staff here to introduce themselves for the record. Jessica, as I said, our first remote location is at Ouachita. Would the staff there at Ouachita please introduce yourself for the record?
Good morning, it's Deputy Marshall.
Thanks, Deputy Marchand, for accommodating us today. We appreciate it. As we proceed through the day today, we will allow public comment before any action item. So our first case is Reagan Bruce. Good morning, Ms. Bruce.
Good morning.
Would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and your DOC number.
Yes, my name is Reagan Bruce and my DOC number is 764714.
All right, thank you. And we have with us seated in Baton Rouge today, we have in opposition, parents of the victim is Annette Bellinger and Mr. Jeffrey Bellinger. I apologize if I mispronounced your name, but I'll get you to introduce yourself. We'll hear from them in just a moment. First, let me read some identifying information into the record, Ms. Bruce. You're classified as a first felony offender. You're currently serving a 20-year sentence. You were sentenced in Lafourche Parish, June 28, 2021 for vehicular homicide. Your parole eligibility date is June 25th of this year, and your mandatory release date on good time is June 30th, 2026. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, Ms. Bruce, we'd like to hear first your statement before we hear from the staff there and the victim's family. We want to hear your statement. How did you wind up where you're at? And why do you think we ought to vote to release you early?
Okay, I've done a lot of self-reflecting these last 5 years. I've dealt with past trauma that I didn't know how to cope with sober, and I've taken a lot of classes. I've learned how to deal with life stresses sober, and now I know who to stay away from, what to stay away from, and I mean, I'm sorry.
We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Deputy Marchand, is there anything you can tell us about Ms. Bruce?
Since she's come to us and been in our work release program with Sergeant Misty May, she has had no incidents, no write-ups, and comes with a recommendation from all women's work release staff.
All right, thank you, sir. Before we get into our interview with you, Ms. Bruce, we'd like to hear from the victim's family, and I believe it's Annette that's going to be speaking. If you step up to the podium, and we'd like to hear what you have to say. Excuse me. Okay.
First, I'd like to thank the families this opportunity. I only hope what was said is true. I do know that in 2021, there was a legislation enacted and revised the statute 14-405, which is to protect families of people who are incarcerated of being harassed through social media. Am I surprised that nothing's showing up? Yes. We did file a complaint, Kelly from MAD. We filed a complaint with the lieutenant at the facility where she was at. The reason I'm here today probably may not have, because the inevitable is going to happen. She's going to bring. Will we ever have our daughter back? No. Will our granddaughter ever vote her mother? No. She will. But our granddaughter cries. The reason why I'm here is because last year, Bruce, who's on social media, she sent friend requests to several of my nieces. The most devastating one was to send our daughter, our only surviving child, a friend request through social media on Facebook. She was doing it through private messaging. Nothing was ever done. We never heard back. There is a law, and that is my concern with this Bruce. And as of 7 weeks ago, she is continuing on social media. And she goes by the name of Kim Spice. It's there. Her children are in the background. We come from a very small community. So we all know each other. She lives in the same neighborhood as our granddaughter's father's family, a whole bunch of them. My point is that I've known her since she's little. I was her brother's teacher when her mother was killed not far from where she killed our daughter. This was not an accident. This was a crash. She made that decision to get behind the wheel of the vehicle in the condition she was in after being pleaded not to get on the highway, which has been, maybe it was her past, maybe that's what brought her to where she is today. But why is she still on social media? Why is she still not following the laws like we all have? And I think the most devastating, and you have a copy of it, is her profile picture with the most disgusting thing in the words of a song about someone getting, I'm not even gonna read it because the words are, but it's basically someone getting drunk and having a crash, which is what she did. She took our daughter, who will be forever 28 years old, who left behind a child that was 3 years old, that we now have full custody of. You have in front of you the documents that states that Reagan Bruce, upon release, and I'm here because the inevitable is going to happen. She will get out. And I pray that she learned a very valuable lesson. She took a precious life from us and from the community who is thriving in the school system. Our granddaughter is at a function today of the thing that her mother was in charge of. And we're trying to get back to her because we never missed anything. My point is that there's a document there that was issued by Judge Abel. I wanted a protective order for this child until she was of an age that she could fend for herself. Judge Abel not only allowed that to happen, she has a lifetime stay away order from this child. What are my guarantees if she can't follow this law, that she's going to follow that? That is where my concerns are. And I'm hoping that everything she said here today is truthful, because I lived my life in faith. And by God, that's why I'm still here today, because we're still grieving the loss of our beautiful daughter that she killed. This was not an accident. This was a choice she made 7 years ago. She was in a rehab. She walked out 7 days later. She killed our dog. She left on her dog. And 7 days later, she killed our dog. My heart goes out to her two children because they have to be suffering the same consequences that our granddaughter is, which is a beautiful child. This woman convinced her father, who is schizophrenic, to bring her to her. This child has been tormented by what happened to her, kissing, sitting on her and telling her she loved her. I want it clear to her to understand that there will come a time when her children may be in the same facilities or schools together. She stays away from my granddaughter for the rest of her life. She has been through enough. We have all been through enough. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for being here.
All right, Reagan, Your case was assigned to me, so I do have some questions for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So you heard all that. I wanted just to ask you a little bit about the social media issue. Tell me about it.
Yes, ma'am. I did not add nobody on that. How's she saying that I added people? I didn't add nobody.
No, I think that the issue was requesting, sending friend requests, but we'll
Yeah,
move on.
I
You know,
didn't-
you're not supposed to be on social media, and you understand there is a protective order that you're not to have any contact with the
Right.
victim's child or her parents.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so you're in work release. Where do you work?
At OCM, Wichita Contract Manufacturing.
You do.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Do there.
Production work.
So tell us about you. You mentioned you've taken programs and what have you, and you know how to deal with your past trauma and stay away from the things you're not supposed to. How are you going to remain? As Ms. Bellinger said, you will be released. You have either a parole date or a good time date. What is your sobriety plan?
To continue AA, possibly do outpatient. I'm really interested in Celebrate Recovery and joining a church. I mean, I plan to stay sober. I mean, I just want to be the best mom for my kids. I'm sober, you know?
So do you do AA where you're at? Do they have that program there?
They don't have it here. I did take it before in my parish.
Okay. Your level of education, you claimed a year of college at intake.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What are you planning to do to support you and your children whenever you go home?
My grandparents own an insurance company, and I got a job already lined up for me.
Right, I did see that in your plan, you do. I'm just going to sit back and listen to my colleagues to see if they have any questions.
How long have you been incarcerated for?
5 years.
Pretty much to the day?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
That's my only question.
Questions?
They've been incarcerated for 5 years. How did you get on social media? Whether or not you had a friend request, aren't you not supposed to do that while you're in jail?
No, somebody had access to my profile.
Oh,
It wasn't me. And that's what I'm saying. I don't know if somebody maybe hacked me. I would never send them requests. I know I have a stay away order. I wouldn't contact the family, and my parole date was coming up. Why would I ever do that?
that's what I was wondering about that.
I would never do that. Definitely not. Whatever I gotta say to them, I knew they were gonna be here today. I was gonna say it today.
Just curious, did you write a victim accountability letter for them?
I did I brought it to court. My lawyer got it. I didn't read it in front of them.
No.
But I wrote something to tell the family.
Okay, so if ever they're ever ready to read it, they'll know that. it's
Okay,
on-
I would be glad to do that. I would really actually like that a lot.
That's something for you to know about and for them to know about it. Okay.
How do I go about that? If they're ready, how do I know that I'm able to send one?
Well, you would do it through DOC. You would speak to
Okay.
the victim advisor there.
Yeah, you would send it to us, and
Okay.
then we'll let them know that it's there, and if they ever want it, we'll provide it to them.
Okay, great.
Okay. Is there anything you want to say to close it out for us?
Yes, I want to let the family know that I am so sorry. I am really sorry that I took an innocent life that day behind a bad decision I made. And I just really hope one day y'all forgive me. I know it's gonna be hard. I completely understand. And I hope one day the daughter really finds it in her heart to forgive me.
All
That's
right,
it.
all right. I think we're prepared to vote, and I'll be voting first. This has been tough to listen to on both parts. I was pleased to hear what Deputy Marchand had to say. I was pleased to hear what you said, and really hope, as Ms. Ballinger said, that all of it's true and that you really are on the path to recovery. But my vote today, based on the proximity of your good time day, the fact that you made a plea agreement, the fact that you're doing well in work release now, my vote today is going to be to deny your parole. But I do wish you well when you go home. Mr. Balrog?
I'm going to concur with Ms. Renata. You've only served 5 years on a 20-year sentence. And you do have an automatic out date on June 30th of 2026, which is not asking a lot. You can concentrate on getting yourself better and programs in prison and good luck to you.
Right.
Mrs. Stapleton?
I'm gonna concur with my colleague.
All right, Ms. Bruce, good luck to you.
All right. Thank you.
We're going to sign out of Ouachita at 9:27. All right, good morning. The Committee on Parole is reconvening. We're now at, in Webster Parish. Would the staff there at Webster introduce yourself for the record?
Major Culpepper.
And I'm Jason Johnson. I'm the head of the sex offender treatment unit.
All right, thank y'all for accommodating us today. We appreciate it. And we have, I'm not sure if I know how to pronounce your name. Could you introduce yourself? Tell us your name.
Ma'am. My name is Patrick
What is-
Watney,
Watney, okay. What's your DOC number?
780087.
Okay, and let me just let you know that we have some folks that have joined us today here with us. We're in Baton Rouge. We have your father, Earl Watney, Jeff Paragoni, a friend, and Jane Meyer, a friend. And Miss Jane and Mr. Jeff want to speak on your behalf, so we'll ask them to do so in just a few minutes.
Okay.
Also joining us by Zoom, we have Timothy Glow and his attorney, Mr. William Arata, and we'll also hear from them at the appropriate time.
Okay.
This morning, well, let me just read some identifying information into the record, and your case has been assigned to Mr. Barra, so I'm going to turn it over to him. But first, verify this information for me, please. You are classified as a first felony offender. You're currently serving a 5-year sentence. You were sentenced in St. Tammany Parish, July 12, 2023. 1 count molestation of a juvenile under your control or supervision. You received 5 years. And 1 count of molestation of a juvenile for which you received a 5-year sentence. Also, those are running concurrently. Your parole eligibility date was February 27, 2025. You do not earn good time, so your full term date is June 27, 2028. Is all that correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am. All of that is accurate.
Mr. Barra?
Yes, sir. How many years have you been incarcerated so far?
Today makes 23 months, so 1 year and 11 months.
All right, can you tell me what you did to get yourself in trouble and why you think we should release you today? How did you get there and why you think is a good time to let you go?
Okay. In 2013, at the end of 2013, beginning of 2014, I did have an inappropriate relationship with one of my students. That's with the first count. I was in 2020. I have to fast forward to answer the question. In 2020, my superior, Archbishop Amond, had me go to a psychiatric assessment at Pine Grove Behavioral Center in Hattiesburg after he had received a complaint from another parent of my texting another student. The parent had complained. The Archbishop called me in February of 2020 and asked me if I had done this. Yes, I had. He said, "Do you give me your word you will not do it again?" I said, "Yes, I would." I held to that for a little while, and then I gave in and during the pandemic, and I texted this person again. So some time. So, okay, that occasioned the Archbishop having me removed for a 30-day retreat in June of 2020 and to do a psychological assessment, first online. It was online during the pandemic. I did this. The doctor was in Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska. After that, I came back to the parish. One of the things, and I started counseling, the counselor suggested that I needed to do a psychiatric evaluation. So that's when I went in September of 2020 to Pine Grove in Hattiesburg to do the evaluation. Part of the evaluation entailed polygraph. The polygraph was something I knew I couldn't outrun. And so I decided it was better for me to come clean and tell what I had done. So I did that. I knew I would probably lose my career, my family, my friends, my reputation, everything. But I felt like it was better for me to come clean with what I had done. So I did confess to having an inappropriate relationship and touching one of my students at that time. The counselor, the psychiatrist, had to recall the Archbishop. I was in her presence when she did it. This was October the 1st of 2020. She reported it to him. He reported it to the police, and then I was removed as pastor. And then I was, I was at between my house and my parents' house. In my house at that time was in West Point, Georgia. My parents' house is in Covington. I was arrested from my house in West Point, Georgia on October the 22nd of 2020 and charged with 4 counts of molestation of a juvenile at that time. I spent 14 days, well, no, I'm sorry. I got bailed out on that one on November the 4th of 2020. I was arraigned on this charge in 2021. Things were delayed because of the pandemic. We came in August of 22. The second charge that involves Mr. Gio was brought forward to my surprise, but it was brought forward. Both cases were brought to a plea deal that I entered on this 2 years ago today, whereby I pled guilty to the first charge, 1 count of molestation of a juvenile under my control, supervision, and then up to the Alfred plea on the case that involves Mr. Gio. Why do I think I'm ready to be paroled now? Why do I consider that? Why do you merit consideration? I have been a productive inmate for the 2 years that I've been in. I have been was enrolled in several Bible study courses. I have been reading many books. I have, while here at DORCHEAT, BAYOU, DORCHEAT, I have been in the Steve Hoyle Sex Offender Treatment Unit program, which I completed on May 30th. I have been a tutor for other students in the risk program in this program during this time. I have been a high-set tutor, a social studies teacher, since last September here as well. My primary reason for asking the board to consider my release, my early release, is that I may go home to help take care of my parents. My mother is 82 years old, had 2 strokes in 2022, is no longer capable of independent living. My father, who you see there with you, is almost 83, and he's showing the strains of being a faithful, loving primary caregiver. I know I can be a vital help to them if I were to be released early. So that's my grounds for asking that today. I would also like to add, if I may, I would like to add an apology, a public apology using this forum to my victim's family. I'd like to offer condolence to Mr. Gio as well. Condolence isn't exactly the right word, but I know he believes I did what I did. But I want to offer a public apology to my other victims' family because I never got to apologize to them and to ask their forgiveness. So I want to do that as well. So thank you for the opportunity to make that presentation.
All right. I'm going to note that we have strong opposition to your release from law enforcement. The judge, the sheriff, the DA, and the attorney general all opposed to your release. We also have strong opposition from the victim, and numerous letters of opposition have been mailed to us from others. And we have few letters of support. I don't have any further questions.
All right. Major Culpepper, is there anything you can share with us about Mr. Wattigney?
No, ma'am. I mean, he's been a good inmate since he's been here. He's been in classes and stuff, so.
Okay, good, thank you. And Jason, anything you'd like to add about his participation in your programs?
I think you pretty much covered it all. He did graduate in May of this year from all 4 phases of the sex offender program. And then, of course, took everything else that we offer. And he does tutor. That is accurate.
Great, thank you. Thank you. All right. We'll hear now from the folks who want to speak on your behalf. Mr. Wattigney, first, we'd like to hear, well, I'll let you folks decide who wants to go first. Go ahead, ma'am. Just introduce yourself and tell us.
Okay, my name is Jane Mayer, and I'm a retired teacher from Covington. Pat has been my priest, teacher, my family friend, and a personal friend to me for over 30 years. I think in all that time, when you know somebody or you say they're your friend, you really don't get an insight into them until something like this happens. And so I probably have a stack of 30 letters for you. And in those letters, the common theme is that he is remorseful. He has never, in any of that time, voiced anything, any excuse for anything that he's done. He realizes that prison is his punishment. He has such good characteristics and he had such a good, fruitful life up to this point. These are all characteristics that are going to help him in the future. And as a prisoner, of course, they've explained that he's been a model prisoner. He'll have a very strong support network when he leaves. And the situation with his parents, since I visit them regularly and I watch, his mom, she can't get up from one chair to the other. His dad has to bathe him, he has to do everything. And when you're in your 80s, that takes its toll. So that certainly could be useful at home. If not, if that doesn't work out, then to move him closer, because it's been 2 years since he's been able to see this. This is the first glimpse they've had of him in 2 years. So I realize it's a long shot, but I think you need to stand up for your friends and for people that you think are good people who did something wrong, but are paying a price in a very willingly paid a price. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Yes. Yes. So, let me get Mr. Jeff.
I don't want to reiterate too many things that have been said before. But I first met Patrick as a high school student. Subsequent to that, he came to work for me at a art shop, a sports memorabilia shop. And subsequent to that, I've known him through the affiliation at church services as a pastor. And since his incarceration, I've been able to talk with him on the phone on a periodic basis and also via letters. And one thing I want to emphasize is it's been said already. He has, both in phone contacts and in letters, he has expressed different moods. And I think what differentiates this from other situations is the fact that he did admit his culpability and send this information on to the Archbishop. The Archbishop then sent it on to the local authorities. So he's not denied any of the situations. And with the situation now calls for the fact that does he stay in jail for 3 more years, or would perhaps this board consider home confinement for the subsequent 3 years? And both he and the prior speakers pointed out, Ms. Jan has suffered 2 strokes, numerous falls, and is really only able to get around with the help of her husband. If Patrick was incarcerated in quotes at his home, I don't know what tell you, ankle bracelets or whatever, then he could be doing a dual role of serving time, but also doing some good. In prison, as far as I understand, as these people said, he's been a model prisoner. He's helped inmates with education and so forth. Also, while at home, I don't know if they offer this at prison, but he could be going through some online counseling and also seek some positive online work. So, in summary, I would just ask the board to consider those factors in rendering this decision. Thank you for listening.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being here. Mr. Watney, Ms. Stapleton has some questions for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Watney, I heard you say that in the beginning of all of this, that the Archbishop, he first sent you to counseling and then to, which was at Pineville, am I correct?
Pine Grove.
Pine Grove, and then you were at a retreat. Is that true also?
The retreat that I did was in June of 2020.
Okay.
The psychiatric testing was done online via Zoom in June of 2020 at the same time as the retreat. Then I went for the psychiatric evaluation in September of at the end of September 2020 at Pine Grove in Hattiesburg. Does that clarify for you?
Yes, sir. Now, during that time,
Yes, ma'am.
we're doing all that because of the allegation of the sexual misconduct. But that wasn't reported to the police during that time. Why it went to the polygraph?
The allegation that brought the counseling about in the evaluation was text messaging with a student, which it was in violation of our ethics codes for clergy to not do one-on-one text messaging with people under age 18.
But was the text messaging of a sexual nature?
No, it was not.
It was just a friendly text?
Friendly.
Led to you having to get all this psychological evaluation?
It did because the Archbishop, well, no, let's say me. How do I answer the question properly? Tell you the truth. In the course of the evaluation in June of 2020, which was the online evaluation with Dr. Nicholas Stevens, no, not Nicholas Stevens. The issue of was I sexually attracted to this person that I was texting came up, and I confessed that yes, I had felt an attraction to him. Yes, that was what occasioned the further counseling and the evaluation in September of 2020.
Well, I remembered that you had said that you did all this stuff and you were told to stop it, but then after some months that the urge became too strong and you did it again.
COVID broke out. It's not an excuse.
But the urge to do this came again and you did it again, even after being given a chance.
Yes, ma'am.
Report it to the police or anything like that. So I've got some breaks there to try and rehabilitate yourself and to get the counseling you need. You did get all of that and still you went back to it. I just wanted to clarify that in my mind. That's all.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now we'd like to hear from the opposition, and Mr. Arata, I'll let you take the lead, and if Mr. Gio wants to go first or however you'd like to do it.
Obviously, I would defer to my client, Mr. Gio, the victim, who has a prepared statement.
Okay. Mr. Gio, good morning.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. My name is Timothy Gio, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak before you today. I'm here to ask strongly and personally that you deny early release for Patrick WattignY. What he did to me wasn't just a single moment in time. It was a deliberate abuse of power that has changed the entire course of my life. I was a child when he chose to prey on me, when he used his spiritual authority to groom and manipulate me. That wasn't a mistake. It was predatory. Every day since then, I carry the weight of what he did. I wake up with a heaviness that doesn't go away, a feeling of helplessness and hopelessness that started the day he violated my trust. This trauma isn't behind me. It's still with me. It affects how I parent my kids. It affects my marriage. It affects how safe I feel in the world. Letting Patrick WattignY out early would send the message that the pain he caused me can be minimized, that accountability for child abuse has an expiration date. But the damage he caused me and others like me doesn't go away with time served. He's only served a fraction of the sentence, and even that is nowhere near the lifetime impact of his actions. Please consider the ongoing harm, the daily toll this has taken on my life and my family's life, and deny his request for early release. Thank you. Respectively, Timothy Gio.
Thank you, Mr. Gio. Mr. Arata.
That would be the extent of it. Thank you, board.
Okay, thank you. Thank you both for being here today.
You're welcome.
I don't see any other questions. Mr. Barr, here to vote.
Mr. WattignY,
Yes.
listen all of this testimony today, and I've read the details of everything in the police reports and statements. And I have no choice but to deny your parole request today based on the strong law enforcement opposition. The fact that you've only been in jail for 23 months, that's not very long time for the type of charge. And strong victim opposition, the letters from the public opposing it, and both of the crimes were committed against juveniles.
I concur, Mr. Morrow. Mr. Watney, I do agree. I think that, you got a light sentence in the beginning. There are consequences for the things you've done. So based on the opposition that's been expressed, my vote today is to deny your parole. Thank you. Thank you very much for the work that you're doing there with the men and tutoring and mentoring and helping them, and continue to do that work. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank y'all.
Okay.
All right, we're ready for Mr. Young. Good morning, Mr. Young. Oh, I think, are y'all still on mute? Yep, there we go. So, Mr. Young, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number, please.
Derrick Young, 75 31 42.
Right, yes, sir. That's what I have. Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Young, let me just read some identifying information into the record, then I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Stapleton. Your case has been assigned to her. So, Mr. Young, you're classified as a second felony offender. You're currently serving an 8-year sentence. Were originally sentenced in March of 2019 for 1 count indecent behavior with a juvenile. You were afforded the opportunity for probation. However, that was revoked in August of 2020. So your total sentence is 8 years and 6 months. Your parole eligibility date was February 20th, 2025, and your good time date is January 13, 2027. Does all that sound correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Would you answer Mrs. Stapleton's questions, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what made you think that you could abscond after getting probation?
I just went thinking I didn't have nobody on my side, so I just
left and went to Alabama?
yes, ma'am. I don't have no relatives down here in Louisiana, so I didn't have no job.
You didn't register with your sex offender either?
No, ma'am.
No. So you didn't do anything that you were told to do?
No, ma'am.
In the court order, this is what, you were told to do, that you, at the time, well, first of all, you got a plea bargain.
Yes, ma'am.
So the original charge was sexual battery and molestation of a juvenile. And then it was pled down to felony indecent behavior with a juvenile. And then got attempted failure to register as a sex offender. So you added some time to yourself. You were also told in your court order, in case you've forgotten, got the other things, stay away from the victim in this matter with no contact whatsoever. Stay away from the victim's mother and grandmother as well. Comply with all other conditions of probation. And then you must comply with all sex offender registration laws for the state of Louisiana and do not violate any laws. And then the charges that you got at the bottom, this is the result of a plea bargain that is recommended by the state, that was recommended by the state. So let me ask you something. The situation here and the child, what do you think is the lasting effects that that child may have?
It's hard. I'm sorry for what happened. I do have remorse, and I'm just praying and hoping everything go right with it. I'm sorry.
In the sex offender class, what have you taken any classes?
Yes, ma'am. I took 3 of them. I took the mass, anger management, and risk.
What else you taking?
And that was it. That's
Anger
all. Yes, ma'am. Anger management, mass, and
All right, so a substance abuse class, which is good, anger management. And do they have a sex offender class there?
yes, ma'am.
Are you fixing to enroll in it? Are you waiting? Is there something keeping you from getting in?
No, ma'am. I did all 3 of them. The last test I just failed. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, you have strong opposition from all community officials. That would be the AG, the DA, law enforcement. They're very opposed to your early release. And when this happened, you were 23 years old and your victim was 8 years old. I did want to mention that.
I was 32.
Right? Am I correct?
No, ma'am. I was 32.
You were 32?
Yes, ma'am. It happened in 17.
Huh?
It happened 2017.
Oh, okay. I thought you said that she was 17. So you were 32 and she was 8. Do I have that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, golly, I guess I wrote it backwards. I wrote 23.
All right, thank you for correcting me. 32 versus 8 years old. All right, thank you. Any other questions? I don't have any.
No question.
All right, Mr. Young, we'll ask the facility there. Is there anything you can tell us about Mr. Young?
I just want to make sure that it's clear that he was brought here, enrolled in the sex offender program, did complete 3 phases. We have high standards for completing. He did not pass the last test. We provided a plan for finishing that test and to proceed, and he chose to drop out. So he has not completed the sex offender program.
Okay, good. Thanks for that. We appreciate that clarification. All right, Mr. Young, I think we are prepared to vote. Mrs. Stapleton will be voting first.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna deny your parole today based upon, community officials' opposition. And also based upon the sexual nature of the offense and the victim being a juvenile.
Mr. Byron?
I'm going to concur with Ms. Stapleton for the same reason.
My vote also, Mr. Young, is to deny your parole for those reasons, as well as the fact that you elected to drop out of the sex offender treatment. That's pretty important to us.
Yes,
So today, sir, your parole's been denied. Good luck to you, sir.
yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And we'll sign out at your facility. It's 10:02.
No, I actually don't.
All right, good morning. The Committee on Parole, we are now at CATAHOULA Correctional Center. Like the staff there at CATAHOULA, please introduce yourself for the record.
My name is Lieutenant Townsend and I run the law and Zoom court here.
All right, thank you, Lieutenant Townsend, for accommodating us this morning. And we have Mr. White, is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you introduce yourself, sir? Tell us your name and DOC number.
My name is Robert White, 444-181.
All right, thank you, Mr. White.
Thank you.
And so you know, we have with us here, we're in Baton Rouge, and with us in Baton Rouge, we have your parents, Robert and Dorothy Hutchinson, and they want to speak on your behalf. We'll ask them to do so in just a few minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
We also have representing the DA's office in Jefferson Parish, Mr. Randall Meyer, and he's asked to say a few words also. First, let me just read some identifying information into the record, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Byra because your case has been assigned to him.
Yes,
Okay?
ma'am.
So, Mr. White, you're classified as a third felony offender. You're currently serving a 25-year sentence. You were sentenced in Jefferson Parish for 2 counts distribution of cocaine and as an habitual offender, possession with intent to distribute heroin. You have a parole eligibility date later this year, which is December 15th. You did not earn good time, and you have a full term date, which is September 16, 2044. Is all that correct?
No, ma'am, I did earn good time.
It said on this, it says you're not eligible for good time.
Okay, well, I guess I did programs. I
You
think
did some programs. Yeah, you did programs, but it didn't credit you for your good time because you don't get it. All right. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Byra.
All right, Mr. White, I'd like you to tell us what you did to get yourself here and why do you think we should release you early? Why are you ready for that now?
I sold and possessed narcotics. Why do I think I should be released? Because I did everything that I tried to do to rehabilitate myself, and I learned my lesson from the things that I did.
Have you completed substance abuse classes while you're in there?
Yes, sir, I have.
Which ones have you completed?
I did living choice and balance, and I'm currently involved in the anger management program. We graduate next week.
I don't see that living in balance completion. Is anyone there can verify that?
Yeah, I have the paper here. I have the certificate here, and they got my teacher is out there doing the class now, and she said she'll step in.
You have the paper in your hand?
I'm sorry.
You have the paper in your hand that says you completed living in balance?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll take that. If we get another chance on parole, what would be different this time? You've already had 2 periods of supervision and both of them got revoked because you committed new crimes while you was on those supervision. Why would what you know now, what you do different this round?
I mean, I realized my mistake and where I went wrong, and I'm correcting them. And I mean, I don't have no desire to spend the rest of my life incarcerated. I mean, I know I didn't think about that before I made this decision, but I have thought a lot about it.
And where do you plan on living if you were to be released?
With my mother and father.
And where do you plan on working?
DOT. They got a job. My brother works there now, and he said he can help get me on. Or if not, I'll go with Total Safety. I worked for Total Safety before. And they said I can come back down, working in the chemical plants. I worked with them for about 4 years before I come to jail.
That's the only questions I have.
All right, well, let's hear from your parents. Mr. Hutchinson, we'd like to hear from you first. You step up to the podium, sir. Go ahead, sir.
My name is Robert Hutchinson, and I am Robert White father. I think he learned his lesson. I think he's ready for society. I think this thing he made, believe that he'll turn from that and start doing things that benefit him in life and living a clean life and respectful life. I do really believe that he's the right thing.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Dorothy, want to say something? Morning. Go ahead. What would you like us to know?
I hear all you need.
What do you want to say to us?
Well, I think you can, okay. All I was.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So let's hear from the DA's office now. Mr. Meyer? Yes, ma'am. That's okay.
Good morning, Randall Meyer, Assistant DA, Jefferson Parish. We're opposed to Mr. White at this time. I think it's pretty clear he needs some more programming. If you look at the eligibility worksheet for parole eligibility worksheet, as of 2/10 of 25, he had no pre-release programs. He needed substance abuse treatment, and he had no educational vocational achievements. He said that he's completed living in balance, but I think he really needs a more long-term substance abuse treatment program. Since 2000, he's had 4 drug convictions for mainly, I believe, cocaine and maybe heroin. I'm not 100% sure, but marijuana and cocaine for sure. I think that shows a real need for a long-term substance abuse program. Annual assessment says he needs a 12-step program. He didn't mention anything about that. I think those are some things that, if he doesn't get it, he's going to be right back. He was paroled in 2012, got arrested in 2019, revoked then, and convicted in 2020 of the same thing, of selling drugs. So I think it'd be a mistake to release him without giving him all of the tools that we could possibly give him to try to keep him out of jail in the future. So we're opposed at this time.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. I don't see any other questions, Mr. Bach.
Yeah, I'm looking at your record with the 20 multiple probations revoked due to new offenses at 25 years hanging over your head, and you only did 6 of them. There's still a lot more programs. I agree with Mr. Myers. There's still a lot more programs for you to complete before I think you'd be ready to get out. That reason, the strong, like extremely strong law enforcement opposition from the judge, the DA, the sheriff, the chief, and the attorney general. Both to deny the request.
Mrs. Stapleton?
I concur with Mr. Barrow.
Yeah, Mr. White, I think you have some more work to do. I agree with the district attorney's office. It's not just about getting out of jail. We want you to stay out of jail this time. And I think there's some more work that you can do to help you better prepare for that. So my vote today also is to deny with the recommendation that you be afforded some more program opportunity. Good luck to you, Mr. White.
Can I have a question?
What is it?
Thank you for your time. Is it any program that you recommend?
No, we're going to leave that to DOC. We'll just make the recommendation for the substance abuse program. And you have to do the 100 hours for sure. You'll be able to reapply for a parole hearing, but get some more programs under your belt first. We'll let you know. We'll send you something to tell you when you can reapply.
Okay,
Good luck. We're going to sign out of CATAHOULA at 10:17. All right, the Committee on Parole is reconvening. We're now at Elaine Hunt Correctional Center. It is 10:20 on Thursday, June 12th, 2025. I'd like to ask the board and the staff to please introduce yourself for the record.
Ward Keith Turner, Elaine Hunt Correctional Center.
Christy LeBlanc, classification.
Joe Buttress, Assistant Warden.
All right, thank y'all for helping us out today. And we have Mr. Sir, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
Julian Nelldell, 401468.
Nelldell. Okay, Julian Nelldell. Good morning, sir. Let me recognize the folks who joined us this morning. We have the Parole Project. Mr. Myers is here, wants to speak. We have your father-in-law on Zoom, Mr. Patrick Robinson. He wants to speak on your behalf. And here with us in Baton Rouge, we have a friend of your family, Mr. Don Reed, and he's going to be speaking also on your behalf.
Yes, ma'am.
So first of all, Mr. Nelldell, let me read some identifying information into the record, and then I'm going to turn it over. We'll hear from the warden, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Stapleton to get your statement and ask you some questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So you are classified as a first felony offender. You're currently serving a 50-year sentence for armed robbery. You were sentenced in East Baton Rouge Parish in October 1998 for armed robbery. Your parole eligibility date was September 2nd, 2024, and your good time release date is September 2nd, 2041. Does all that sound correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, well, before we get your statement, let me ask Warden Thomas, is there anything you can tell us about this man?
Good morning. One thing I can say, Mr. Renato is he's definitely not the individual that I met at DCI several years ago. He's made great strides. He's done a lot of good things. He's earned his GED since he was incarcerated. He's a trustee here. He's a mentor, and he's currently in Victims Impact. So I can definitely see the change in him. Seemed like about 4 years ago, the light came on, and he got this thing figured out. So he's definitely on the right track.
All right, good to hear. Thank you. Mr. Nelldell, would you answer Mrs. Stapleton's questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good morning, sir. According to my records, and you can correct me, you were 18 years old when this crime occurred. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how many years have you served?
27.
27, of a 50-year sentence, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, a synopsis of what happened that day is that it was an armed robbery and y'all got $4,970. And you were the person with the gun. Am I correct there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And let's see, there was a positive ID, but the problem was that for the victim that went as you were leaving, I guess, you pulled the trigger and they said that the bullet missed the victim just by inches. You shot the gun?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. So you need to know that your victim is very opposed to this. And then the DA also talked about that, the fact that you pulled the trigger and could have killed that person. And it was just actually good luck or the hand of God that kept that from happening. So, and you do have strong opposition from the DA and EBRSO, East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office. But I do notice that you did start out with a lot of disciplinary write-ups. And then now that you're in these classes, and some of the ones I looked at was you've written a victim accountability letter, correct?
I did.
Yes. And you've taken the pre-release.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anger management, Malachi Dad's living in balance. You've done those.
Yes, ma'am.
Now you've gotten your GED.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're in a victim awareness class. Is that correct?
Victim impact.
Victim impact. Tell me something about that, since you now know about that the bullet came so close to the victim's
head, and that's what still impacts the victim. Tell me about that.
Taking that class, it teaches you to be aware, shows you how to be aware of the impact of what you did with the victim, towards the victim. And it's not always just the physical part of it, it's the mental part, him reliving the situation alone and understanding that it caused physical, mental stress, and a lot of financial stress as well. And I understand that. I do. At first, I didn't because I understand life, I understand myself. But going through that and realizing what I did, and I see it all. I understand.
Well, and then just like the warden said, a light seemed to go on because I had 71 disciplinary write-ups for a point. And then we have this. What happened? Do you know what happened that caused you to say, I need to examine myself and start taking these classes and do something to improve myself?
I mean, it took a while. It took a while, but understanding what humanity was and being a human was the purpose of life for me really changed now. What I did didn't help life, didn't help humanity, me steady messing up in prison. It wasn't helping me, it wasn't helping people around me, it wasn't helping anyone. I just like, it's not gonna get you. You gotta understand what life is about. And me being in prison, it took me coming to jail to really understand being what a man was. I was 18. I didn't understand. I didn't know what my purpose was. I didn't know anything about nothing. I was just with a crowd, hanging out, trying to be down. That was my biggest thing, trying to be down. I didn't understand myself. And once I realized myself, like everything just, this is it. That wasn't it. I woke up. And if I could change any and everything, I would change a lot, but I'm gonna change what I can change now. I can't really change what I did. I know what I did, and I wished I wouldn't have. But all I could do is just move forward and continue to do better.
I see that you've been accepted into the Parole project.
Yes, ma'am.
That's an excellent project, and to get people on their feet and bring you up to date with the world has changed so much since you've been in jail. I'm gonna pass it to my colleagues and see if they've got anything to say.
Why did you commit the robbery? What were you after? What you needed the money for?
Money and just, like I said, being down, peer pressure, not understanding myself, or the guys I was with, not really friends, they not knowing either. I was young. I was basically me being down, basically, not understanding.
That was my only question.
So how many times have you seen Warden Thomas in DB court before he was Warden Thomas?
Warden Turner?
I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. Warden Turner, I apologize.
Hey, bye. We're very familiar with each other. We're very familiar.
Yes, sir. You lost 935 days of good time.
It's like every time I was catching a ride, I was taking 6 months here, 6 months here. I mean, that was just the rule. That's how they were sentencing me. But me, Mr. Turner.
You don't deserve it?
Ma'am?
Didn't you deserve it? You said that's how they were sentencing you. Didn't you deserve it?
Those were sentencing guidelines.
Yeah, I understand that. They got tired of your foolishness. But what I am happy to say is I see where you started getting some of that restored recently. So I was going to ask some of the same things Ms. Staples did. What happened to make the light go off?
I grew up.
Yeah, I'm pleased to see that. We'd like to hear from those who want to speak on your behalf. First, we'd like to hear from the Parole Project.
Yes, good morning. Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project. We're here for Mr. Nelldell for the same reasons that the warden spoke of his change, for the same reasons we saw the growth and change in Mr. Nelldell. It was impressive seeing, I guess, that moment, or being able to identify a moment when the light came on. So we're here to support him through his reentry. After 27 years of incarceration, we certainly understand what his needs are in transition, and so we're prepared to offer him the transitional housing. He does have long-term residence plans, but he will be with us as long as he needs to be. We will help him through the transition with financial management, consumer skills, social norms. He'll be evaluated by our social work staff for any additional needs, particularly mental health and substance abuse. But we can say that we've accepted Mr. Nelldell because we have also seen the growth and maturity that he has, and the as he's expressed himself, how he has come to know himself. And so we believe he would be an excellent candidate for our program.
Thank you. Could we hear from Mr. Nelldell's father, Mr. Patrick Robinson?
Hello. You guys
Hi.
can hear me? Yeah,
Yes.
I'm his pastor as well. I just want to say that I'm here to support him. I feel like from mentoring him and talking to him that I see the change in him. I also worked in the correction for 25 years before I retired. So I know the ins and all the playing games and when you're serious. I really think he's very remorseful for what he done. From talking to him as well, like I say, as his pastor, I see the change, and we're here, and I also have a job for him lined up when he get out as well.
Okay. And what is your relationship? I have you listed as father-in-law.
Father-in-law and pastor and mentor. Yes,
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate hearing from you. All right, Mr. Reed, we'd like to hear from you, sir.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I served on the library board here in Baton Rouge for 14 years, so I appreciate your service on the public board, and I realize it's a lot of work that you do the best you can do with the information you have. I'm a lawyer, don't represent Julian. I did represent his stepfather. That's really why I'm here. I go to First Methodist Church. I think y'all got some letters from the church people. Julian's mother, Hannah, and his stepfather, Mitch, both worked there for many years. Julian used to come with his mother to church, and he's a couple years older, I think, than my daughters. I have 3 of them. And they were friends, and he was engaging and educated and spoke well. A great kid. If I had to say from my perspective, what happened to Julian was that he didn't fit in with his peer group because he was educated and well spoken. And I think he tried to fit in, and you know, that's a bad choice. I just had my 50th high school reunion at pastime on Saturday, and I remember therefore what it was like to be in high school and how difficult sometimes that time is to get along with you. But anyway, he felt obviously my personal involvement came in with his mother died in 2016. And his stepfather, Mitch, was diagnosed about the same time with terminal cancer. Mitch called me to come to the lake and say, I got to do a will because Hannah died. And we want Julian to have our house when he gets out of bed. We want to make sure that he has a place to live. So I want to do a will that makes that happen. And he did. I did that for him in the hospital on the day after Christmas, 2016. And then Mitch lived a couple of more years. And that the succession has not been completed, and unfortunately, Hannah did not have a will, so we had to do some work done with Mitch's sister and Julia's brothers. But I talked to all of those people yesterday, and I think that with Julia if Julia gets out of jail, we'll be able to put him in his house and a place to live, which is really the primary reason that I'm here, because my goal is to hopefully try to make sure with the dying time that his stepson get out of jail and move on with his life. I can appreciate the crime victim. I myself have been a victim of crimes many times. As far as I know, none of those people ever went to prison. I think one of the guys that I was involved in some altercation with spent a few days or maybe more than that, some time in the tangible jail, but he never went to prison. And I don't hold any bitterness in this. I think we all make mistakes, particularly when we're young. And Julian spent 3/5 of his life in jail. So I would like to see him get out, and I think other people would. Appreciate y'all's attention to this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here this morning. All right. Any other questions? All right, I don't see any other questions, Mr. Nelldell.
Mr. Knox, if you don't mind, one thing I like to add, I don't know what decision the board is gonna make today, but if he gets a favorable recommendation today, he is in victims impact class. He's got about 7 weeks left. And I would like to see him, finish that victims impact. I think it'll be very beneficial for him. I think it's been real beneficial for him past 5, 6 weeks that he's been in. So I think he's finally found himself, but I'd like to see him finish that class if the board, votes favorably for him today.
Oh, thank you, Warden Turner. We'll consider that. We're ready to vote, Mrs. Stapleton?
Yes, my vote today, Julian, is to grant a favorable parole conditionally that you finish your victim impact class where you're at, and that you're released to the parole project and for at least 2 years. Mr. Myers, is that possible? I don't know if it's listening.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay, because I know you said as long as they need, but for at least 2 years that he'll be there, and that you have no contact whatsoever with your victim, Mr. Harper. And that's my recommendation.
Mr. Barrow?
I have a quick question for Mr. Reed. That house that he gonna inherit, where is it?
Haley Street, I don't know exactly,
Is it in Holden, Louisiana?
no, it's not.
Okay.
All right. Looking at your programs you completed while you were there, you've done a great job with that. You haven't had any write-ups in the past 4 years, which that says something. I'm gonna vote to grant you parole also with the same conditions she had, but I'm gonna add another one that says you don't go back to Holden, Louisiana, where your victim lives. We don't want that, you and that man to have another encounter. We don't want to set him back. He's already suffered enough. So not only no contact with him, don't go back to his hometown. All right, that's my vote.
All right, I'm really proud of you, Julian. You worked hard of late, and I'm glad you turned that corner. I do agree with my colleagues. My vote will be to grant your parole with the same conditions based on, what you've demonstrated to us. You've demonstrated growth and maturity. The warden has spoke of your transformation. I would add another condition though, and that would be, Mr. Reed has talked about your ability to speak well. I want you to speak to at-risk youth, share your story, try to steer someone away from the same path you went down. And I'll let your parole officer determine the frequency or how many hours a month you're supposed to do it. But I do want you to do that as a condition of parole. Okay? You got to finish. You got a little bit more work to do there with Warden Turner. So do the victim impact, and I think they'll do some good work. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, Warden Turner, thanks so much for accommodating us. We're going to sign off at 10:39. All right, good morning.
Good
We
morning.
are convening at Raymond LaBorde Correctional Center. It is 10:43 a.m. on Thursday, June 12th. Warden, would you and your staff introduce yourself, please?
Sure, Ms. Cheryl. Warden Marcus Myers, and before my staff introduces themselves, I just wanted to say to the board, you may or may not know this will be my last hearing.
Oh,
I'm retiring at the end of the month.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to you.
Almost
We'll miss
35
you.
years-
We'll see
Almost
you.
35 years, it's time to go, but.
Wow.
Ms. Cheryl, it's been a pleasure working with you all these years, through these last couple of administrations with the parole board. And Mr. Barrios and Ms. Stapleton, y'all have enjoyed my time with you guys as well. It's been a pleasure, and you've always helped me out. And,
Well,
we work well together.
we wish you the best. Good luck. Enjoy it.
Thank you very much.
Fun, travel, fish, whatever you like to do.
Oh, lots of golf, lots of golf.
All right.
Golf, there you go.
Okay, and my staff are.
Classification, Raven Heath.
Melissa Joshua Records.
All right, and we have Mr. Berry there with us. Mr. Berry, good morning.
Good morning.
Would you introduce yourself to us? Tell us your name and DOC number.
I'm ADARRIO BERRY, DOC number 506-511.
All right, good. That's what I have. Now, let me just read some identifying information into the record, Mr. Berry, and then I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Stapleton because your case has been assigned to her. So, Mr. Berry, you are classified as a 4th felony offender, currently serving a 20-year sentence. You have your sentencing date was we have 2 different ones. One all in Washington Parish. First is January of 2015, distribution of heroin. I think you were released on good time, but that was revoked in 2019. You have another sentencing date, October 2019. Illegal carrying of a weapon, possession of a firearm, possession with intent to distribute buprenorphine, possession with intent to distribute heroin, and as a habitual 3rd offender, possession with intent to distribute methamphetamine. You have a parole eligibility date, which was January 19, 2024. And your good time date is July 23rd, 2038. Does all that sound accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Would you answer Mrs. Stapleton, please?
Okay, I want to start with the good news first because you got some bad news in here with your criminal history. Okay, why don't you tell me about the classes that you've taken?
The classes I took, I completed Living in Balance Phase 1, Phase 2. I think I have 80% of the NAAA meeting completed, and I'm in re-entry, and I just got into victim impact.
Oh, that's very good. Let me ask you something. Somewhere I saw Blue Walters. Did you ever attend that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, because it was just something, and I could have missed it with another one or everything. Okay, so victim impact. Tell me what you've learned about victim impact, because the drugs that you were caught with, it was with intent to distribute. Wasn't just that were you a user also?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you were a user and you were selling it, I guess, to get money to buy other drugs or whatever.
Yes, ma'am.
So what have you thought about the impact you've had on victims who bought those drugs, who got those drugs?
Well, the classes I took, I learned that I affected more than just that one person or those, it affected multiple people. It's a ripple that I affected that I didn't even understand that I affected so many people by my bad choice. So, I'm a work in progress in learning more that can help me and help me not have victims, because I'm not a bad guy. I just make bad decisions.
How many years have you served on this sentence? You got a 20-year sentence. How many years have you served?
I think I'm about at like 6.5.
Okay, 6.5. So not even quite half, huh? Well, what I'm going to do, which is just read some of the different synopses, just a sentence or two, because it's from people that, I mean, it's long. Subject has an extensive history on supervision, has had his probation and parole revoked on multiple occasions. Your drug history is extensive. And so the last time you were arrested in 2019, okay, it was a traffic stop by a Louisiana State Trooper. And then the driver quickly got out of his car and ran away from his vehicle. During the hot pursuit, the trooper noticed the driver was holding a firearm, and the driver observed you throwing something away. After the trooper tackled the driver to the ground and secured him in the back of the patrol car, a search was conducted and 2 guns were located, as well as multiple drugs. The trooper was able to identify the driver as Mr. ADARRIO Berry, and Mr. Berry was arrested and charged with multiple arrests. So when you got out again from the 2014 charge, you went right back. You got out in 2017 and 2019, you were rearrested. You've done it many, many times. So why would I think this time would be any different?
Cause I'm tired, man. I'm just tired of that life. It just, I mean, it ain't worth it. I'm tired. It just, I know I made bad mistakes by doing that and everything, and I'm sorry, and I admit it. But now I understand that I can't blame nobody for the mistakes I made, because nobody forced me to do it. It was all my choice. I made the bad choice. Nobody else, nothing that I was around and hanging with. It was my choice to do that. But I'm tired. I'm just tired.
Well, I'm going to wrap it up with this. The opposition is district attorney. And one of the comments is, Mr. Berry is a career criminal, and they're opposed. Also, I have another one that says that the sheriff, Sheriff Seal, says that you're a habitual offender, and the fact that you've been arrested with the drugs and the firearms together. So they're strongly opposed to you getting out. That's all I have to say.
No question.
Warden, what can you tell us about?
Yeah, Ms. Cheryl, Mr. Stapleton, you kind of took the words out of my mouth when you mentioned Blue Walters earlier. You know, as always, I do my interviews with the inmates prior to the hearing. I did mine with Mr. Berry yesterday. Had a long talk with him and brought up a lot of things that you brought up, you know, and you know, again, always honest with him. What I'm going to say, I told him yesterday he's not ready, and I don't think he's ready. It's not my job to get him out of prison. It's my job to get him out and keep him out.
Right.
So he has accomplished a lot. He's been here in a year. He's been here a year, and he's made a drastic turnaround in that year. During our conversation yesterday, he admitted to me prior to coming to my facility, he was in Madison, and he did use drugs at Madison, and I appreciated his honesty. He didn't have to be honest with me in that, but he was. And so that goes a long way with me. But it doesn't take away from the fact his history, and he's one of the worst drug users that, you know, I've come in encounter with in all my years. You know, I've come in encounter with a lot of them. But by his own admittance, and that's the first step. He understands. You know, he's been using drugs and serious drugs, heroin, things of that nature since around 16. I think he told me yesterday. So we need to give him some more help. And Blue Walters would be a great thing for him. But I'd like to see him finish the classes that he's in at my facility. The victim impact. I'd like to see him involved in my Boys to Men program, which is a 6-month program. Which is faith-based, and it's also educational as far as life skills, and it touches on a lot of drug addiction issues. So I'd like to see him do that, and then move on after that to a really extensive
Substance treatment program.
Yes,
long term. Okay, I'm gonna put that in my recommendations.
We want to make sure this time when he gets out, he stays out. He's 47 years old. I told him yesterday, this is, the next chance will be his last chance, I'm sure, so.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I think we're ready to vote. Mrs. Stapleton.
Okay, my vote today is I'm not gonna grant your parole, but I'm gonna put on there that my recommendation is that you finish your victim impact class and that you enroll in the Boys to Men class where you're at, and that we recommend that you attend a long-term substance abuse class.
Okay, Mr. Byron.
I concur with Ms. Stapleton for the same reasons.
All right, Mr. Berry, I'm glad to hear you say you're tired. You ought to, but you've got some more work to do. Because it's like the warden said, we want to help you get out, but we want you to stay out. So my vote is the same, to give you some more time to do the work you got to do. I'm glad you started that work. So he's laid out a good plan for you. Follow that plan, and we'll see you again when you're eligible to reapply for parole. Good luck to you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, good luck to you, Warden Myers, on your retirement. We're going to sign off and adjourn at 10:54.